There is a moment in trading that almost every trader remembers. Not because it was dramatic, not because it wiped out an account, not because it made or broke a career, but because it didn't make sense. You take a trade, you follow your idea, you manage risk, and you lose. Then later, sometimes minutes later, sometimes hours later, price moves exactly where you expected. That moment stays with you. Not the loss itself, the confusion. Because the chart tells one story, and your experience tells another. You weren't reckless, you weren't guessing, you weren't gambling. So why does it feel like the market punished you anyway? That question quietly changes how traders think. It introduces doubt, and doubt doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up the next time you hesitate, the next time you rush, the next time you override your plan. This video is not about strategy, it's about timing, and more importantly, the emotional state behind your timing, because being right means nothing if the decision came from pressure. Most losses are easy to accept. You know when you rushed. You know when you ignored rules. You know when you forced something. Those losses hurt, but they make sense. The ones that stay with you are different. They feel unfair, because they challenge your understanding of cause and effect. You did what you were supposed to do. You followed the idea. You trusted the setup. And still, the result was negative. That's when traders stop trusting themselves. They replay the trade, they zoom out, they zoom in, they look for what they missed. But most of the time, nothing was missed. The issue wasn't the idea. It was the moment the decision was made. And timing is not mechanical. Timing is emotional. Entering too early doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from anticipation. You see the setup forming. You recognize the structure. You've seen this before. Your brain fills in the blanks. Waiting starts to feel unnecessary, almost inefficient. You tell yourself you're being proactive. You tell yourself you're trusting experience. You tell yourself you're improving entries. But underneath that reasoning is urgency, because you remember all the times you waited and missed the move. That memory doesn't live in logic. It lives in the body. So when price approaches your level, your nervous system reacts. Your attention narrows, your patience thins. You enter. At first nothing happens, then price ticks against you. Now you're involved, your posture changes, your breathing changes, your awareness collapses into the trade. You're no longer observing probabilities, you're monitoring risk. Hope creeps in. Justification replaces clarity. And when the stop gets hit and price moves afterward, something deeper happens. You don't just feel frustration, you feel misunderstood. That's the moment traders start believing the market is against them. Early entries don't just cost money, they train behavior. They teach your nervous system that waiting is unsafe. So next time, you act sooner, you anticipate faster, you override confirmation quicker, and each time the habit strengthens. This is why traders feel like they lost patience. They didn't lose it. They trained it away. The market didn't punish them. Their own reactions did. Late entries feel different. There's no urgency at first. There's hesitation. You see the setup clearly. You know it fits your plan. But uncertainty creeps in. You want confirmation. You want alignment. You want certainty. Price starts moving. And now regret replaces patience. You imagine the profit you could have had. That gap between where you are and where you should be creates pressure. So you enter late. Not because the setup improved, but because the discomfort became too loud. Late entries feel heavy. Your stop feels tighter. Your emotions louder. Even winning trades feel stressful. You don't trust them because you didn't trust yourself. So you cut winners early. Over time, this destroys expectancy. Early and late entries look opposite, but they come from the same place. Discomfort with uncertainty. Discomfort with waiting. Discomfort with not knowing. Trading exposes this more than almost anything else, because you must decide without certainty and live with the outcome. Most traders aren't bad at analysis. They're bad at sitting with uncertainty, so they act to escape it. Timing is not about speed. It's not about precision. It's about regulation. Good traders aren't calm because they're confident. They're confident because they've learned not to obey every internal signal. They feel impatience and don't act. They feel fear and still follow the plan. That's the skill demo trading doesn't train, and live trading demands. Progress begins when you notice the urge, not when you suppress it, not when you fight it, but when you see it clearly. I want to enter early because I'm uncomfortable. I'm hesitating because I'm afraid of loss. That awareness creates space, and space creates choice. Missing a trade because you waited is not failure. Entering a trade because you felt pressure usually is. Waiting offers no dopamine, no action, no feedback, no stimulation. The brain doesn't like that, so it invents reasons to act. You're missing out. You're wasting time. You're falling behind. But the market doesn't reward activity. It rewards alignment. Eventually, something shifts. You stop chasing moves. You stop needing excitement. You stop needing proof. Trading becomes boring. And that boredom feels uncomfortable at first, because boredom feels like stagnation. But boredom is stability. Boredom means you stopped interfering. This is the moment most traders quit, right before consistency, because nothing feels exciting anymore. There's no hunt, no rush, no emotional high, just waiting, execution, review. For most people, that feels like failure. For consistent traders, it feels like control. Many traders tie results to identity. A win means they're smart. A loss means they failed. That emotional attachment destroys objectivity. The market doesn't respond to ego, it responds to execution. Consistent traders separate who they are from outcomes. A trade is not validation, it's data. Discipline relies on willpower. Willpower fails. Structure removes temptation. The best traders don't trust themselves to do the right thing. They design systems that make wrong behavior harder. Same setup, same risk, same execution, over and over. I once knew two traders. One was brilliant, analytical, precise. He had spreadsheets, backtests, theories. Every loss made sense, and yet his account bled slowly. The other trader barely talked. One setup, one time. Laptop closed. Guess who made money? Intelligence didn't save the first. Simplicity saved the second. Most traders think flexibility is strength. In reality, flexibility creates escape hatches. Every loss becomes a reason to change something. No strategy survives long enough to prove itself. Consistency requires rigidity where it matters. When trading finally clicks, it doesn't feel exciting. It feels quiet. You stop reacting. You stop checking constantly. You stop interfering. You trust the process not because it wins every time, but because it behaves the same every time. That's when the market stops feeling hostile. Not because it changed, but because you did. If this felt familiar, you're not behind. You're becoming aware. And awareness always comes before consistency. You don't need a new strategy. You need tolerance. Tolerance for uncertainty. Tolerance for boredom. Tolerance for waiting. Because when timing comes from clarity instead of emotion, results take care of themselves. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.